Hello traders, this is day number 8 and trade number 15 of the small cap market open test trading. I took one trade this morning, and usually that means that everything went great and I got a one and done trade that hit my 2-hour profit target. Not exactly what happened here. This is a really important trade that you should pay attention to because this is something that gets a lot of new traders into trouble, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. First, let me show you my screener and how I pick these stocks to trade. So this is the small cap test, so we're using my small cap screener. Always click these 3 little dots and click modify, otherwise your filters will not be applied. These are my filters, and then I organize the list by volume, and I'm only looking at stocks obviously that are moving up in price, so they have to be green. And then my criteria is they must be trading with 5% change or more, and there's also some daily chart criteria that must be met. So let's take a look at the video and we'll see what I was looking to trade. So I did have BBIG up and I was waiting for it to break out over the previous day's high, and then it would have to do some other stuff before I could take a trade. That never happened. MMAT also was looking strong, and I think eventually did break above. Well, I put out, so let me just explain these lines really quick because this is very important. This first yellow line is the previous high. That could be in the pre-market, aftermarket, or previous day. And the first criteria that must be met on the chart is that the price must break out above that level. That's the first indicator of strength. Then a new high of day, or a high of day I should say, it has to be established. So that was established right here. Then I want to see that high of day, that level broken. So I want to see the price break out above that. So that's why this white line is here, is to remind me I need to see a new high established after this first high of day. And then after the price pulls back from that level, can I look for an entry? And that kind of is my confirmation for strength in the stock. And that's exactly what we're testing here. I don't know if that is really going to work in the long run or not. No one knows until you test trade it, 100 times with doing the same thing every single day. That's the only way you're going to know if something works. Doesn't matter if you read it in a book or someone said it in a YouTube video. If they say it works 75% of the time, that means absolutely nothing unless they can show you a spreadsheet where they collected that data, and then it still doesn't mean much to you. It just means it worked for them, and then you need to test it 100 times. And my recommendation is always one single share. Otherwise, you're going to be hurting pretty bad if you start taking some big losses right away. So here's BTU. This is the one that I ended up taking the trade. So as I said, this line is the previous high. This is the high of day. Now the high of day has been broken. Here's the pullback, right? And then that white line is that second high of day. So that white line just lets me know, okay, all of my chart criteria have been met. Now I just need to take my entry, which is the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. So that's what I'm waiting for here on BTU. And it was kind of a weird entry, but it doesn't matter if my entry criteria is met 100%, I have to take it. I don't judge, how good the entry looks or anything like that. I just go off of these levels that are broken, and that's it. So I'm just waiting for a 1 minute candle to make a new high, and here it happens on that candle. Let's see. Now DMYI was something that popped up on the screener, but it doesn't have a 200 MA on the daily chart, so that knocks it off of my list or possibility to take a trade. So here BTU starts going on this candle and it breaks over there. It hits 1364, so that would have been my ideal entry. I got 1386, and so it's only 2 cent slippage, which is generally not a problem. Remember that all of my winning trades so far, all of my trades that have gone to 2R have also gone to 3R, and many of them much further to maybe 4 or almost 5 times my risk. So I generally am not worried about any slippage because these things are really strong once this criteria is met when they do win. And let's see what happens here. So again, I use my 2R calculator to come up with my profit target, which was 1436 in this case. If I would have gotten in at 1385, which even that was 1 cent above my ideal entry, the profit target would have been 1434, and that's important to keep in mind in this case because I'm going to show you what happened on this trade. So let's just fast forward here. So this thing looks super strong. I mean, look at that run, nice and clean. It's looking like there's no way it's not going to hit my profit target. Let's watch this part in real time. There's 1435, and then it bounces right off that level. Now, if you're a new trader, you're going to be very tempted to drag down that profit target and just take what you can get. And that's a really, really bad habit to get into. And I know from personal experience, I mean, any long-term trader will tell you that is not a good habit to get into, but I did it myself, many times. And I always ended up red in the long run, because instead of my winners going to 2R or whatever my reward to risk was back then they would just maybe make 1R or 1.5R, something like that. And then when you take a loser trade, you're always taking -1R. We don't have any problems holding our losers all the way down to our decided stop loss, but we want to drag that profit target down. So it makes no sense. In the long run, you end up wiping out all of your gains very quickly. So it's just unfortunate in this case that this thing just kept bouncing off that 1435 and couldn't break over it. But there's nothing I can do. The good thing about this is a great exercise of your discipline, and trading discipline is really pretty much everything. If you have a winning system, a winning trading system that's guaranteed to make you money, if you can't follow it 100%, if you don't have the trading discipline, you're probably not going to make money, even with that guaranteed to make money system, if there were such a thing. So trading discipline is absolutely essential. So this is what this was for me, was a great moment to exercise discipline. There's nothing I can do in this situation. I just have to let the price come back down and hope that it does go back up and hit my profit target. But if it doesn't, if it comes all the way down and stops me out, so be it. I've done this, well, I haven't done this entry that many times yet. This is trade number 15, but I just finished my mid-cap market open test where I took over 100 trades. I don't think this ever happened that entire time. So the point I'm trying to make is that getting stopped out by 1 cent is an extremely rare occurrence. When it happens, it's frustrating, but it's going to happen once in a while. And luckily, it doesn't happen that often. And here it was looking like I was going to get hit on my profit target, but again, it just taps that 1435. But as I said, nothing is more important than discipline. Imagine if I brought that target down when this thing started to pull back and I got, say, 1420 something, and then this thing did come back up and get 1436. I would have been pretty upset with myself, and I would have broken my plan. Whenever I break my plan, I have to stop trading for 1 week, and that, again, is just something to help you exercise your trading discipline. Because what happens when you break your plan, you generally continue to break it. And how do you think accounts are blown up? Is continuous breaking of your trading plan and losing your trading discipline. Once you start down that path, it's very hard to pull back, and it's really easy to keep making one more bad decision after another. They just kind of pile on, and that's it. So the best thing to do, again, in this situation is just maintain your discipline and stick to your plan. So that's exactly what I did here, and let's fast forward and we'll see what the result of. Now, a lot of times this happens, and I'll say this actually happens more often than not, where I could keep my trading discipline high, and I just sit here and let it do its thing, and my profit target eventually does get hit. That's what happens most of the time. But again, once in a while, what's going to happen is you're going to get stopped out by 1 cent. I think this is the first time that this has ever happened to me since I've been doing these test trades. I'm sure it's happened before in the past when I was doing more random things, but it's just to tell you, how rare this is. And the fact that, so here is my profit target, 1334 on my ideal entry, which obviously would have gotten hit. There's two things that means. That means that, first of all, this was a good trade. All these criteria were a sign of strength because this stock did make a 2R trade, which that's what I'm looking for. And then the other thing that means, based on my plan and my rules, is that if my 2R profit target gets hit, based on my ideal entry, that I have to stop trading if I get stopped out. So normally I could take up to 3 trades per session. So if I get stopped out, I take 2 more trades. But in this scenario, I can't, because it already gave me a 2R trade without me. It just was because I did not get my ideal entry. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, that's another, just think about how frustrated you'd be if I would have gotten filled 1 cent lower, my 2R profit target would have been hit. It would have been a nice one and done day. So if you start trading after that, you're frustrated, you're likely to break your plan and start making dumb decisions. So that's one of the reasons why that is part of my plan. I'd rather just take a 1R loss for the day than risk breaking my plan and doing something stupid. So here we go. Let's just show you the stop out live in person. And then I'll show you my order so you can see that I did not take any other trades after this. I did stop trading. Now it looks like it was going to maybe bounce off that level where my stop loss is, but doesn't happen. It might have after hitting the stop, and I don't really care. I don't go back and check the chart. It just is totally a non-issue because I did everything according to plan. So this is a successful trade, red or green. And if I go back and look at the chart and find out, oh, it would have hit my target or something, that's just torture because that's not always going to happen. If that did happen in this case, then the problem is it plants a seed in your brain where, okay, well, the next time I should just take another trade after I get stopped out, even though it's against my plan because on this occasion, it went and hit my profit target. I don't know if it did or not, but that's the point that I'm trying to make is that just because it does in this case, if it did, doesn't mean it's going to do it the next time. And that's, again, another way that new traders blow up their account. So that's it. Let me just show you the orders in my account here. So let's go to filled orders. So AEHR, that was from Friday. You could see 924. So these were the only trades that I took today. So that's it. So that's my proof, you know, that I'm stuck to the plan and I've actually done what I've told you I've done and just take that one trade. So that's it for me for today, and we'll be back tomorrow doing the exact same thing and sticking to the plan. And we're 15 trades into this plan right now, so we've got a long way to go to prove whether it's profitable right now or not. So right now, this is just the beginning of things. So let me know if you have any questions about that trade or about this plan or trading discipline or anything like that. I'll get back to you in the comment section below. As always, this is the point of all this stuff. As always take your stop losses. Well, first, let me start by saying this. Most important is to have a trading plan going into every trade. And then actually, I have to rephrase that because that negates what I said earlier. The most important thing is to be able to follow your trading plan. And of course, in order to follow a trading plan, you have to have one. But it doesn't matter if you have a trading plan, even if it's the best plan ever. If you don't have the discipline to follow it, you're not going to make money. So you got to have the discipline to follow a trading plan. You have to have a trading plan to follow. And then you always need to take your stop losses onto your profit target. And in the long run, you should be green. Take care.